What is up, everybody? And David, we have finally made it, my man. We are at the last team of the 2021 previews, man. We were kicking butt for a while there and got a little bit behind here, but we promised our fans we would finish all these, and we did it, David. We finally did it. So next week, when you tune in, we will be talking 2021 season, things that have been happening. It's gonna be a lot of fun moving forward. We're gonna start to have some guests coming on as well. So David, it's been really fun, man, no doubt. And we're finally here, man. And we end with a team that nobody can figure out. I sure as heck cannot, man. I don't get it.
Figured out, DJ. I had them nailed last year. Now we need to talk about this a little bit. We just got to remind ourselves who you picked to finish first in the division. You were totally crapping on the A's, telling about how bad they sucked and they weren't going to do any good. And the team that you picked ended up in the cellar. I'm just going to throw that out there. So, and by the way, they released the guy that you said was going to take them home, take them to the World Series or whatever. Pujols is gone. Probably never to be heard from again. Kind of sad, but he has been pretty terrible as an Angel. Let's be honest. That's been a really bad contract.
I totally disagree. Maybe we can fight about that in a later podcast. His numbers are not that bad. They haven't made the playoffs, which is highlighted as to why they think it was a bad contract. But his numbers, David,
they are that bad, DJ. They are that bad. And it's compounded by the fact he's been dealing with a foot issue the entire time he's been there. So he can't run and he can't play defense. I mean, he's had a couple of decent years, but was he worth the money that they paid him? No way. The Cardinals were so smart to get out of this. I'm betting the Angels wish they had a do-over on this. I love Albert Pujols. I don't want to disparage him in any way, shape, or form, but this contract has been rough. These last 3 or 4 years especially have been rough. So
we're gonna fight about that in a future episode because that needs.
I'll have numbers to back it up. You
needs
trust me.
To be totally addressed as far as that goes. So I will fight you on that one.
I'm ready. I'm ready for that fight. So DJ, let's talk about the division. We don't want to take the spotlight off the division winners. The Fighting Bob Melvins, first place once again, 36-24, and they did it, DJ, with something that I can't stand. One of the worst batting averages in the league, 14th in batting average with a 225 batting average and 9th in home runs. So I mean, they were, still hitting the long ball, but not in huge numbers. But on the flip side, the young pitching came through. 3.77 ERA, which was good for 4th in the AL. They had one of the best closers, if not the best closer in the league, who is now gone. 10th in the league in Ks. Big years from my boy Chris Bassett, again a pitcher, not a thrower. 2.29 ERA, and that bullpen was outstanding. I didn't see where they stacked up with the rest of the league, but Liam Hendricks 178. Wendelken, 180 ERA. Soria, 282 ERA. My boy Yasmiro Petit. I love that dude. Again, he's a pitcher, 166 ERA. Big home run years from Chapman and Matt Olson. The rest of the team couldn't hit worth a lick, but somehow or another, Bob Melvin got him in the playoffs. They lost in the division series to the Astros. And, great season.
The White Sox.
I don't want to talk about that.
Oh, okay.
But they had 6 walk-off wins throughout the year. So, man, great year. That's all I can say about it. Probably better than expectations for most people because most people have never heard of the A's players. They play on the West Coast. They play in a sucky stadium. They'd love to get out of Oakland and can't. But they just keep winning. So you got to hand it to them, man. Bob Melvin is a lot like Kevin Cash. He must be just a master. But a lot's changed, DJ. Billy Beane now out of the organization this past year. And so the offseason was a rough one, to be honest.
Yeah, man, I don't get it. I mean, 15th overall in on-base percentage. Not a single starter for them, David, hit above 247. Like, what are they doing? One guy had 30 ribbies, and that was Matt Olson, and he hit 195. So I just don't get it. I don't understand it. The bullpen was awesome. Like you said, they were first in ERA, second in WHIP as a bullpen. They were awesome. every year I bet against these guys, and every year I regret it, man. And I don't get it. I don't know how they do it. Bob Melvin is a great manager. There's no doubt about it. The more I see him manage, the more I see him coach these guys, the more of a fan I am of his. I am still a big fan of the fact they knocked the White Sox out of the playoffs. So I owe them a lot of great debt of gratitude for doing that for me when the White Sox and the A's combined to use 47 pitchers in game 3 of that series. And Bob Melvin somehow survived, and Rick Renteria was kicked to the curb. So that was a crazy series as well. But man, I just didn't get it. So David, and they go into the off season with needing some players, and here's some guys that they added. So they got Mitch Moreland from the Padres, Elvis Andrus from the Rangers. Let's see, Trevor Rosenthal from the Padres, Sergio Romo from the Twins, and Jed Lowry from the Mets. So I don't know, man. What do you think of their additions?
Well, if you'd asked me before the season started, I would have said Trevor Rosenthal would have been the big add there. Yeah. But we all know now that he went down with injuries, out for the year. I just figured he would be a good replacement, good enough replacement for Liam Hendriks. But again, it hasn't panned out that way at all. So right now, it looks like the big addition, to be honest, is Jed Lowry, or you could say Cole Irvin. I think they got him, if I'm not mistaken, from the Phillies, I want to say. I might be saying that wrong. I need to look that up. But Cole Irvin's been the man out of the rotation, and Jed Lowry, the ghost of Jed Lowry, is back.
Oh, yeah.
Been hitting. He filled a huge need at second base. You made fun of him for Tony Kemp playing there all last year. And Jed Lowry has booted him to the curve. He's now their starting second base. So what do you think, DJ? Who do you think the big addition was?
Mitch Moreland, maybe. I don't know.
I like Mitch Moreland.
If he plays 162 games, which he never has played, he's a 24 bomb, 81 ribby, 252, 320 guy. So I like Mitch Moreland a lot. I think he's a good addition. By the way, David, of the 40-man roster that the A's have, 21 of those guys they traded for, and only 13 of those guys are homegrown. So the A's have kind of lived and died through the trade a lot to build this team. So, yeah, the offseason wasn't too bad. Nothing super crazy. I thought, I was harping on them pretty bad. If they're that close, like, make a big splash. Really, I hate they should have gone even more. I mean, they didn't do enough, I don't think. So
nope. F is what I give the A's, because they lost a lot, man. Robbie Grossman, Tommy LaStella, Marcus Simeon, Joaquin Soria, Liam Hendriks, Mike Minor, Chris Davis, Franklin Barreto. Man, that was kind of a big core of the team. Marcus Simeon, that's the guy that I picked as the biggest loss. I know it's hard to believe with Liam Hendriks leaving.
I agree.
But if Simeon had been there, the guy they replaced him with, Elvis Andrus, has just not been very good in a long time. And even when Simeon wasn't hitting, he was great in the field. And even when he wasn't hitting, he was better than Elvis Andrus has been in years. Yep. That's who I had as their biggest loss. How about you?
Yeah, definitely Marcus Simeon, the 2019 MVP finalist, finished with 33 bombs, 92 ribbies that year. Toronto's a good team, man, and they got a good addition there by getting him. But, man, they lost a lot, man. Hendriks is a stud. Grossman's a stud. LaStella's a great utility player. Mike Minor's a good pitcher for the Royals now. I mean, Chris Davis is just a masher. Maybe not as much anymore, but that was a big loss they took, and they didn't gain too much. So,
right.
I don't know how they're doing it still again this year. We're full disclosure. We're into this thing, man. They're in first place again, and I don't know how they're doing it. So, David, talk us through that lineup for them.
All right. So, Mark, DJ, you're going to tell me how you say his last name. Is it Canna?
Canna.
Mark Canna, leading off playing left field, 246 last year, 5 homers, 33 RBIs. Ramon Laureano, 216, 6 homers, 25 RBIs. He's in center field, stud defensive player, one of the best. And that, to be honest with you, DJ, that is part of the way that they're doing it. They're awesome in the field, pretty much everywhere. And so I think that plays a big role. They play great defense. Matt Olson, first base, 195 last year, 14 homers, 42 RBIs. Matt Chapman at third, kind of had a down year last year compared to previous years, 232, 10 homers, 25 RBIs. Mitch Moreland, DH. And like I said, I'm a big Mitch Moreland fan, even though he played for the Red Sox. But 265, 10 homers, 29 RBIs, mashes righties. You don't want him in there against lefties, and I think he's in a platoon situation pretty much now. Sean Murphy had a big year last year. He's struggling so far this year, but 233, 7 homers, 14 RBIs. Steven Piscotty in right field, 226, 5 homers, 29 RBIs. And Jed Lowry penciled in here at second base. He didn't play last year. And Elvis Andrus there at the bottom, playing the shortstop, 195, 3 homers, and 7 RBIs. So what do you think about this lineup, DJ?
I don't get it, man. What in the world is going on, David? I don't get it. I love Matt Chapman. And he only played 37 games last year. A big reason why those numbers are so far down. But I love Matt Chapman. I really do. Like, of all those guys, he's my favorite on the A's by far. I don't get it. What am I missing? Dude, I really don't. I don't understand, David. How does this lineup produce like they do to be in first place in that division? Division of all division, I don't get it. Their offense is not better than the Angels. It's not even close to better than the Angels, the Astros. Not even close. I'd take their lineup every day over this.
Again, I think that a couple things we're missing here, though. Their pitching is miles better than the Angels. At least it was last year. I don't know that you could really say that about the Astros, but especially the bullpen. And then they catch the ball, DJ. And that's why a big reason why that ERA is so low. So I'm with you. The top 6 of their lineup, not too bad. 7, 8, 9. It's just brutal, man. It's brutal, man. But what's helped that whole situation? Jed Lowry is hitting the ball, man. Yeah. So now it's not Tony Kemp batting down there at 8th next to Elvis Andrus, which looks terrible. But now it's Jed Lowry. And so we'll see, man. I don't know. The rotation has proved again to be pretty good for them this year. I don't think the bullpen's quite as good, but my boy Lou Trevino, he's not, they're not missing old Liam Hendricks that much with Trevino back there. And so Cole Irvin stepped it up. I'll just run through the rotation. You got Montas, 3 and 5 last year, 5.60 ERA, but he was a stud the year before. He just had a rough year last year. Chris Bassett, he honestly reminds me a whole lot of pitches for the Zach Davies. Not real sexy numbers or whatever, not a lot of strikeouts, but he gets people out, which is the goal of the game. Sean Manaea showed up at the end of last year, 4 and 3, 4.50 ERA. Jesus Luzardo, they thought enough about him, DJ, that he started game 1 of the playoffs versus the Astros. 3 and 2, 4.12 ERA. Cole Irvin, 0 and 1, 7.18 last year. And then Mike Fiers, 6 and 3, 4.58. So what do you think about that rotation?
I mean, I do like it. There's a lot of young arms there that are coming up that are good. AJ Puck's another guy too that they're looking at to maybe possibly one day start for them, and not quite this year, I don't think. But I mean, they got it, man. They got a lot of young guys there, no doubt, and they've this is kind of the only part of the team that they've built through the system. The rest of this, they've traded for all these guys, like the offensive guys. The pitching come up through the system. So these guys have done it that way with the pitching and kind of traded for the offense and the bats and all that kind of stuff. But, man, I don't know. I just don't – I got it. I seriously, man, I know I've said this 14 times, but I've got to watch the A's, I guess. I got to sit up and watch them a little bit more at night and just kind of figure them out because I'm baffled, man. And I thought, when I was going through this, I'm putting them in a terrible spot again to finish this year, and they're like 21 and 14 last time I checked. So I don't know, man. They're doing something right there. So I guess I can stop bashing them and start kind of seeing what they're doing right, because with that payroll that they have there, which is nothing, with that terrible stadium they have there, which is nothing, they're getting it done, man. And it's I think a lot of credit to their organization and Bob Melvin.
Absolutely.
So, David, what do you got for team strengths, buddy?
I just put the young pitching. And like I said, it's kind of hard to put your finger on it. Maybe some of the time, but, Luzardo's long been considered a stud. Manaea, long been considered a stud. So I'm just going to go with the young arms that they got. They obviously trust them in the bullpen, too. They let some key guys go. And so, I'm going with the young pitching. What do you got?
I just want to give Matt Chapman a little love here real quick. I think he's an absolute stud. One of the best defensive third basemen in the game. He's top 10 in MVP voting his first 4 seasons in the pros, which is awesome. David, he hasn't made over $1 million in any season he has been in until this year, where he's making $6 million. Do you believe that? I could not believe that. He has not made over $1 million, and he's got 4 top 10 finishes in the MVP already. They are bargaining him big time. He's gonna obviously, get his payday, and when that comes, sorry to say, but as A's fans all know all too well, he'll be gone. But what a bargain and what a great player he's been. So I'll go with Matt Chapman.
Yeah, and DJ, a lot of teams ought to think about. I know extending is the big thing right now, but the A's, they basically ride these guys when they're cheap and sell them off. And the Rays have been famous for that as well. So maybe that's the way to go with some of these guys. Tatis just got that huge contract, which I thought was a smart move.
Oh yeah,
but maybe these teams would be better off in some cases to just ride them out. I'm thinking about the Yankees and Aaron Judge, to be honest with you. Do you just let Aaron Judge walk? I'm not sure it's not a bad idea. You get what you can out of him and let him go. But, like I said, I like the young pitching. I love Matt Chapman. As far as the weakness goes, it's just a lack of contact in the lineup. I'm like you, man. Like, I'm pretty old school. And so, I like guys who hit 300. That's what I like. And they don't really have any of those guys, but they do have guys that get on base to some extent, and they have guys that hit home runs. And so you've said it before, the name of the game is producing runs. Somehow they do it. I don't really understand it. It's voodoo, but it works for them. But I'm going with a lack of contact. How about you?
That's exactly what I had, man. You nailed it right on the head. So position battles, what do you got for that, David?
Position battles. I had second base. Again, coming into the season, you had Tony Kemp. Jed Lowry, would have been an afterthought. I wouldn't have even put him on this list before the season. But you had Chad Pender, and I'm going to butcher this, Vimael Makan, I guess is how you would say his name. He's their utility player. I'm sure I butchered that, so I'm sorry for those that know how to pronounce it. But that's what I had. Tony Kemp was a starter most of the year last year. He put up uninspiring numbers while playing good defense. We talked about him last year, more of a utility player than a starter. But Lowry ended up taking it over. So what did you have, DJ?
Mike Fiers not even penciled in as a starter in a lot of the things I saw there, which is crazy because he started a playoff game for them. So you got Montas, Manaea, Puck. They'll all battle it out to stay in the rotation with Fiers looking over their shoulder. Those guys will all be possibly fifth starters in this rotation. They got a lot of depth at the pitching. I'll give him that. He was 6-3 with a 4.58 last year and was out quick in Game 3 versus the White Sox. But is now looking at a long reliever for them. So we'll see what happens there with the position battle and the fifth starting spot. So,
hey, DJ, hold on just 1 second. Allison just turned the lights off on me.
We're going to keep going through this because this is kind of funny. David is now officially in the dark. We don't even know where he is anymore. Oh, there he is. He's back.
I really look like a ghost in there. I don't know what that was all about. Sorry about that.
A little scared there for a second, man. That was a little creepy. I was like, David.
Thanks, Big Al. We appreciate that.
That's awesome. Way to go, Allison. We love you. All right. So, David, what do you got for a prospect for the A's going to help him out?
So, DJ, I know how you love your legacy guys, so I got one here for you.
Nice.
Logan Davidson, that's their number 5 prospect. His father was Matt Davidson, who was a pro for about 6 years. He's a shortstop, 6'3", which is big for a shortstop by today's standards. But good power, good defense, but in typical A's fashion, strikes out all the time. So we'll see. Obviously, with Simeon gone, Andrus is not the answer there in the future. I don't know that he'll be up this year, but he's somebody to keep an eye on. Not a very good farm system for the A's this year either, DJ. 26 in MLB, 0 top 100 players. But keep an eye on Logan Davidson. What did you have?
AJ Puck, I'm ready to see him pitch consistently. The 11.1 innings pitched in 2019 make him a prospect still. He has never made his MLB start yet, so apparently it's his time to shine coming up here. I want to see that first start when it comes. He's got a good mane there, a good head of hair. I'm very jealous of that hair he's got going on there. Big dude, 6'7", lefty, 248 on the mound, 6th overall pick in the 2016 draft. So like Mickey Moniak for the Phillies, David, who I called and is starting now for the Phillies in center field. I called that, by the way. Let's see what we got out of him and Mickey there. I've been wanting to see these guys play, and I'm getting my guys getting up here. So My facial hair is better than AJ Puck's, but he's got better hair, so I'll go with that on there. His is very patchy. It's kind of ugly. He looks like a 20-year-old who can't grow a beard yet. So he's got to improve on that, but the hair is there for him. So we'll see what we get out of him. He's been up and down kind of. They thought, especially last year, he was gonna get a rotation spot. He never really took off with it. So we'll see what happens in the future. So David, what do you got for favorite memory of the A's?
Listen, I love the Bash Brothers. That's where I'm going with that. That whole team was just fun. And this is where, again, I just part with you steroid guys. Not that I'm pro steroid or whatever, but it was just a part of the game. Honestly, it made the game fun. I love McGuire, Canseco. Ricky Henderson was on that team. I love Dave Stewart. He was so intimidating. Terry Steinbach. I'm trying to think of it. Walt Weiss. Yeah, all those guys on that team. What a fun team, man. And they were obviously a big part of some great memories there. The World Series with the Dodgers that Kirk Gibson hits the home run. The Earthquake Series, if I'm not mistaken, they were playing the Giants when that happened. So I'm going with the Bash Brothers. What do you got?
Man, I had a Mark McGuire A's poster when I was on the wall when I was a kid, man. It's got to be the Bash Brothers. They were the superheroes of the league when we were kids. They really were. Like, when you thought of the A's, you thought just home runs. Like, here's these guys that are just massively huge and bigger than the game, and you feared that lineup with everything you got. It was unbelievable to watch them play. They were Superman in baseball uniforms. They really were. They had it all together. Both are Hall of Famers if you throw the steroids out. Jose had 462 homers and 1,400 ribbies in his career, won Rookie of the Year and MVP. He just dominated from 86 to 99. He really did. In 89, 92, and 93, he battled injuries, but when he played, he was awesome. And all those seasons he had, besides those three, he dominated. He really did. His numbers were there every year. He was awesome. And we all know about McGuire. So, man, that team was just something else. Ricky Henderson, I really wasn't a big fan of his, but he was something else, stealing all those bases, hitting bombs from the leadoff spot. His team was very feared. Dave Henderson, Dave Parker, had the Dave brothers out there too, man. A lot of fun to watch those teams, and big time favorite memory for me as well. So, David, the stadium, the Coliseum from 1968 to the present. Should we even just talk? Do we even waste our breath with this?
Hey, for all you Temple baseball players out there, this is the Avondale of baseball stadium.
Yeah.
It blows my mind that the city hasn't worked something out with them, or the league hasn't worked something out for them to leave. I don't get it. They've been good for a while now, because consistently, yet their attendance is terrible. And one of the main reasons is the experience is bad. And so they need to do something, either new stadium or move them. I don't know where you could move them to, but no interest in seeing the Coliseum, DJ. How about you?
None. This might be below the Nationals. We were just talking about the Nationals.
It definitely is. It's got to be
below them, right? I mean, this might be the biggest dump. Maybe the Rays. You got to stick their field in there, maybe too.
Yeah, I'd probably rather go there than the Rays Stadium. After I've been to the Rays Stadium.
Yeah,
that was hard to figure out.
This is the cellar dweller of stadiums, man. They got to get this figured out. I don't really want them to go to Las Vegas. I would hope they figure this out, but not sure they're gonna do it, man. But yuck on that one, no doubt. So, David, trivia time, buddy. Which A's player had a provision in his contract that barred him from eating animal crackers in bed?
What?
Was it Bert Campanellis, Mark McGuire, Rube Waddle, or Raleigh Fingers?
Well, I don't even know what to say about that. I guess I'm going to have to go with Raleigh Fingers, just because he seems like he would be outside the box like that.
That's a good guess, but it's Rube Waddle, Hall of Famer. Don't act like you don't know him. He's a Hall of Famer. Rube Waddle, Hall of Famer.
Era?
He used to room with a guy named Shrek, his catcher, which is kind of funny, and they had the same bed to save the team money. So he convinced the GM Connie Mack to put that in Waddle's contract that he could not eat animal crackers in bed for the fear that he would choke and die, and that Shrek didn't have a clue how to save him. From 1897 to 1910, he was 193, 143 with a 2.16 ERA. He's got 2,300 Ks, and you've never even heard of him, David.
I have never
on you.
It's because he was eating animal crap. That's just the craziest thing to me that they would even write something like that into a contract back in those days. Because you know how it was back in those days.
Yep.
No divas were going to stick around. You know what I mean? It just wasn't going to work. So that is the funniest thing I think I've ever heard. And the oddest thing I've ever heard on this podcast. I'm just going to throw that out there. So Rube Waddle, I'm going to have to look that one up. So DJ, here's my one for you. I went easy. Top 10 all-time home runs, Oakland A's.
Okay, let's go. Ricky Henderson, Jose Canseco, Mark.
Wait. Ricky Henderson is not on the list.
What?
No, not there. Bye.
Oh my goodness.
First guess. Bye.
Reggie Jackson, Jose Canseco, Mark McGwire.
1, 3, and 4.
You've got, let's see here. I am thrown off by that Ricky Henderson. No, you're killing me there.
You're missing one Hall of Famer. Actually, maybe 2 Hall of Famers here. Definitely one.
Sal Bando.
Sal Bando is there. He is number 9.
Let's go. Missing a Hall of Famer, huh? That's always fun.
You're missing 2 Hall of Famers, but older. I'm sure that they were not in Oakland. This is one of those weird deals where, you know, they moved states.
Connie Mack.
Nope.
Jimmy Fox.
Number 2, Jimmy Fox.
Yeah, Philadelphia A's, right?
Yep.
Gotta kind of go in that part of this too. Man, I wonder if Chris Davis has got to be on there.
Nope.
Really?
That is shocking, actually, but yep, not on the list.
Oh man, now that completely threw Matt Olson and Matt Chapman not even close then. Wow.
I'll give you one of them. How about my boy? Because I loved him when he was a Yankee, Eric Chavez.
Oh yeah, Chavez definitely. How about Dave Henderson? No.
No Dave Henderson? No.
Not long enough, probably not Dave Parker either. He was a Pirate for a lot of times in Reds. So
I'll give you a hint on one of these. He's also a former Yankee, fairly recent. Had a brother that played on the team. Think Moneyball.
That'd be the 2002 team then. If you're thinking Moneyball, that would be Chavez and the boys.
The Giambino, man.
Oh, Jeremy Giambi.
No, Jason Giambi.
Jason Giambi.
You're missing Al Simmons.
Miguel Tejada. No?
No, everybody else is from the Stone Age. Bob Johnson, 252 home runs. He was number 5. Al Simmons, number 7, Hall of Famer, 209 home runs with the A's. And Gus Zernial, 191 home runs.
Never heard of him.
Never heard of him.
Well, all right. Yeah, that one.
So where are we going to finish up here with the A's? We all know where they are right now.
3rd place, AL West. I honestly wanted to drop them to 4th, but I put the Mariners below them.
Who were also good this year, which is weird.
I'm gonna mess that up, but I'm going 3rd. I'm sticking with my guns. What do you got?
Yeah, I had 3rd as well. I said before the Astros, and I have the Angels making the playoffs. Now that they got rid of Pujols, they'll definitely make it because that black hole in the lineup is gone. Yeah. I got the A's 3rd. They're going to miss the playoffs this year. But it looks like at this point we're both going to be wrong.
So, David, we'll close this show and we'll close all these preview podcasts, giving some love to our coach who is an A's fan. Coach, we love you, man. Biggest A's fan that I know. I used to talk about those 70s teams with him all the time, man. He loved talking about those teams that won 3 in a row. I would love to pick his brains about the A's even more. Coach Hall did a lot for us in our baseball careers, put a lot of his time and money into our program to see if
Yep.
we could have the best experience we possibly could have. I wonder if he has been to the game in Oakland. It'd be interesting to know that. And David, we got to have him on the show to talk about Temple baseball, the A's,
Absolutely.
whatever he wants to talk about. Life's too short. We need to pick his brain to talk to our coach from Temple, buddy.
Yep, that'd be awesome, Coach. You got to come on. One of the best guys, also one of the best cooks that you'll ever meet. Everything that he makes is good. If you can get you some of that white sauce somehow off the black market, you need to get you some. But Coach, we miss you. We need you on the podcast sometime. It'd be awesome.
Yes, sir. So, Coach, we hope you watch this one, man. This one's totally dedicated to you and for you. So, thanks again for everything you did for us in our lives and our careers and everything like that. And David, man, we made it, buddy. It's all over. We are moving on now, buddy.
Pressure's off.
Been a lot of fun, man. Been a lot of fun doing these with you, man. So we will move on to our weekly updates next Monday night. We will be back. So these 4 will be posted very soon. And thank you, everybody, to tuning in. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, and everybody have a great night.
See you guys.